speaking of big names, you definitely will know. Have you heard about what's happening with the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni case? All right, there are millions of people who are obsessed with this case. I'm gonna give you a little background on it, and then you will be obsessed with it. And I'll tell you, there's a reason why conservatives in particular are following this so closely. It makes sense to me. Well, shortly into production, Blake Lively is very dissatisfied with virtually everything around her and decides to allege that Justin Baldoni, forgive me, very effeminate, evolved, modern feminist man bun kind of guy, is like this virulent sexual harasser. I've got questions. I'm not sure why he would do that, whether he'd have the guts to do that, or whether the man bun is the most likely harasser in general. So she says he's been harassing her, and they bring in some team, and he says, whatever you want, I will do it or not do it, you tell me. And so the more time we got to spend with Blake Lively, the less we liked her, the more her promotional efforts for a film about domestic violence felt off. She was full of giggles and laughter, and wanted to promote her liquor brand. Nothing says domestic violence like a bottle of tequila. What? She seems like a bully. She seems like somebody who punches down to somebody who's only trying to do something nice for her. So negative press swirled around her during this whole, like a month. Just shut up, no one cares that you got a couple of bad articles about you in the Daily Mail. And Blake Lively went to the New York Times, and the New York Times wrote this sympathetic, poor Blake Lively story. Oh, we were all wrong about her and her weird PR. She's actually a good person and a Me Too victim. Told us that Justin Baldoni denied those claims of sexual harassment and only tried to appease Blake Lively because she was such a high-maintenance diva bully brat. He had to bend over backwards just to get her to shut up and complete the film. Who's telling the truth? Is he some creep harasser who took a shot at somebody like Blake, jeopardizing his movie and his future career? Or is she just extremely high maintenance and someone who plays the victim when she doesn't get her way? Well, I've got my opinion, and I think you can guess what it is based on our little discussion here.
Megyn Kelly destroys Blake Lively's sad attempt to not televise Justin Baldoni lawsuit? That's the headline setting social media aflame and fueling debates in every corner of the internet. If you thought you'd heard the last of the rumored Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni saga, especially after whispers of so-called explicit tapes nearly shattered Lively's carefully polished image, think again. This time, the chatter revolves around whether or not the lawsuit should be televised, and at the center of the discourse is none other than Megyn Kelly, a media powerhouse known for her no-holds-barred critiques. Kelly, never one to mince words, has publicly torched what she calls Blake Lively's sad attempt to keep cameras out of the courtroom. But why does it matter? The conventional wisdom in Hollywood has always been that big-name stars can keep their dirty laundry out of public sight, relying on their star status and high-powered lawyers to shield them from scrutiny. However, viewers these days are far less impressed by celebrity shimmer. In fact, many audiences now question the real merit behind Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' fame, calling them entitled, talentless, and undeserving A-listers, or even more cuttingly, C-listers in disguise. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni, once relatively unknown, has found himself thrust into the role of an unlikely underdog that some observers support purely out of spite for Lively and Reynolds. As rumors swirl about what this televised lawsuit could uncover, Megyn Kelly's pointed critique has only fanned the flames of speculation. The legal clash between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni didn't simply materialize overnight. Rumors of tension between the two had been simmering for a while, but only recently did they flare into a full-blown lawsuit. Although the exact details remain murky, some say it's over-leaked private footage, others claim it involves contractual disputes. What is clear is that the controversy centers on some potentially damning evidence that might paint Lively in an unfavorable light. For years, Blake Lively has been elevated by many media outlets as a quintessential Hollywood darling, graceful, charming, and effortlessly glamorous. She's often seen hand-in-hand with her equally praised spouse, Ryan Reynolds, a duo that's cultivated an image of witty banter and marital bliss. Yet, a growing segment of the public seems unimpressed. Threads on social media, replete with mocking memes, question the real source of their fame. Are Lively and Reynolds genuinely talented actors deserving of top-tier celebrity status? Or Are they just beneficiaries of a clever publicity machine? The question might sound harsh, but it's one that resonates with many who feel overshadowed by the relentless Lively Reynolds hype. Then enters Justin Baldoni, a name that didn't ring many bells for mainstream audiences until he found himself pitted against Blake Lively. The rumor mill suggests that Baldoni uncovered or possesses material that Lively desperately wants to keep private. Precisely what that material is remains speculative. Could it be revealing footage, emails, or personal diaries? Whatever it is, the mere suggestion of its existence has spurred an avalanche of interest, with Baldoni transforming overnight. From "who is that guy?" to "he might be the man who topples the Lively Reynolds empire." That might be an overstatement, but it underscores a genuine shift in public sentiment. Ironically, many Baldoni supporters don't claim to be die-hard fans of his acting. Instead, they see him as a vehicle for exposing perceived hypocrisy or entitlement in Hollywood. In some corners of the internet, the rallying cry has become, "anyone but Blake and Ryan." Whether fair or not, that's the environment fueling this lawsuit's explosive growth, and it's exactly why Megyn Kelly's scathing criticism of Lively's tactics has gained so much traction. So, what's motivating Blake Lively to keep the cameras at bay? After all, many celebrities find ways to spin negative attention into profitable press. The big question swirling around is, what is so damaging that Lively and her team feel the need to muzzle public access? Are we talking about private arguments that reveal her personality in a less than flattering way? Financial dealings that might tarnish her squeaky clean image? Perhaps even references to personal controversies? That could have ripple effects for her husband, Ryan Reynolds. One popular theory suggests that Lively is terrified of losing the goodwill she's accrued over years of carefully orchestrated public relations efforts. Critics argue that her entire brand is precariously balanced on the notion of being both glamorous and down to earth, a precarious mix that resonates with many fans, but that could shatter if her personal life turns out to be rife with drama or questionable behavior. When the cameras roll in a courtroom, authenticity can become glaringly obvious, especially if a cross-examination or piece of evidence counters the storyline celebrities like to present. There's also the possibility that Ryan Reynolds' own image is intertwined in these proceedings. He's known for his tongue-in-cheek humor and public persona as a loving husband and father. If Lively's personal controversies bleed over into Reynolds' orbit, the couple might find itself under an even brighter spotlight, leading to negative headlines and the potential unraveling of brand endorsements. This, in turn, would lend support to the claim that they're not truly the A-listers they appear to be, but perhaps just a viral marketing success story that appealed to fans' desire for an ideal Hollywood couple. Ultimately, the hush-hush approach to the lawsuit could be more revealing than any televised coverage. Every attempt to squash transparency sends the public's imagination into overdrive. The question morphs from, "is something embarrassing about to come out?" to, "how bad must it be if they're going to these lengths to keep it hidden?" And that's precisely the environment in which Megyn Kelly's scathing commentary thrives. Let's imagine the scenario in which the lawsuit does go public in full view of cameras. For the average spectator, it would be must-watch drama. High-profile celebrity trials often draw enormous audiences, from the infamous O.J. Simpson case to the more recent defamation suits that turned into media circuses. A televised trial involving Blake Lively, with cameo appearances by Ryan Reynolds and a persistent Justin Baldoni, could easily dominate headlines for weeks. Megyn Kelly's stance appears to emphasize the pros, particularly the transparency aspect. She implies that if Lively built her fame partially on public adoration, she must accept the flip side, facing the music under the same public gaze. Whether you find that argument compelling or invasive depends largely on your stance about celebrity responsibility. Yet, the fact remains that many viewers relish the thought of seeing cracks in the polished veneer of Hollywood power couples, fueling the push for a televised spectacle. For a moment, let's put aside the larger legal and ethical debates. Let's focus purely on Blake Lively's brand, an intricate tapestry woven out of red carpet appearances, heartfelt interviews, stylish social media posts, and charming banter with her husband. Marketing experts often point out how a star's wali brand relies on consistent storytelling, maintaining a persona that resonates with fans. For Lively, that persona has been the approachable goddess. Glamorous yet relatable, sexy but also wholesome. It's a balance that's hard to maintain, especially in an industry that thrives on tearing down icons the moment they show vulnerability. If the lawsuit proceedings are televised and any damaging revelations come to light, Lively faces an uphill battle to preserve her image. Think about the numerous celebrities whose public trials or depositions revealed aspects of their character that clashed with their cultivated persona. One poorly chosen word under cross-examination, or one snippet of personal footage taken out of context, can become the new viral sensation that redefines a career. In an age where social media users are adept at creating and spreading memes, the potential for reputational harm is enormous. Adding Ryan Reynolds to the equation complicates matters further. The couple's brand synergy is so potent that cracks in Lively's image could easily bleed over to him. Endorsements they hold together, whether for products, charities, or co-produced films, might be reevaluated if sponsors sense a shift in public opinion. And for the segment of viewers who already believe the pair is overhyped, a televised trial could be the final piece of proof they need to dismiss the duo as shallow opportunists. That's a public relations nightmare waiting to happen. Ironically, some PR strategists argue that if Lively can manage to appear sincere, cooperative, and sympathetic during a public legal proceeding, she might actually come out stronger. That's a big gamble, though. With tensions running high and details still murky, it's a gamble that could backfire spectacularly. And with Megyn Kelly adding fuel to the fire, calling Lively's actions sad and presumably disingenuous, the slope just got even more slippery. While Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds deal with the fallout of potential brand damage, Justin Baldoni's star is rising, albeit in an unconventional way. To reiterate, it's not that Baldoni has suddenly become Hollywood's hot new leading man based on an acclaimed performance. Instead, he's become a symbol of the anti-Lively, a figure who's inadvertently tapped into the public's appetite for underdog stories, where lesser celebrities challenge the big dogs. Some in Baldoni's orbit might worry that his newfound fame is precarious, hinging entirely on a lawsuit that frames him more as an antagonist or champion than an actor. But in the short term, it's garnering attention. Social media has been particularly kind to Baldoni, painting him as the unsuspecting hero who may expose the illusions behind Hollywood's beloved golden couple. Memes portray him as David, to the Goliath that is Lively Reynolds, and many viewers cheer him on simply out of a desire to see the top dogs toppled. Baldoni's supporters also hail Megyn Kelly's intervention as a massive boon to his case. By criticizing Lively so openly, Kelly shifts more public sympathy onto Baldoni. After all, if a polarizing figure like Kelly sides against Lively, it might encourage some fence-sitters to do the same, especially those who are growing tired of what they see as the Hollywood hype machine. Still, Baldoni runs the risk of being pigeonholed. If the lawsuit drags on and no explosive revelations emerge, he could be seen as the guy who made a lot of noise over nothing. Conversely, if the trial is televised and damaging details do surface, Baldoni could become a pivotal figure in one of Hollywood's biggest tabloid storms of the decade. An odd claim to fame, perhaps, but fame nonetheless. For better or worse, Baldoni's fate is intertwined with Lively's now, and Megyn Kelly's harsh spotlight only heightens the tension. Megyn Kelly's vocal condemnation of Blake Lively's approach isn't just about one star's attempt to avoid negative press. It points to a broader conversation about Hollywood's obsession with controlling every narrative, from romance and heartbreak to legal disputes. For decades, entertainment publicists have excelled at spinning any story to their clients' advantage. Caught in a scandal? Release an apology letter and a heartfelt interview. Under the microscope for a lawsuit, settle behind closed doors and let hush money do its job. In many cases, the average fan remains unaware of the behind-the-scenes maneuvering. Kelly's stance effectively challenges this status quo by implying that celebrities who willingly bask in public adoration have a responsibility to remain transparent, even when circumstances turn sour. She's challenging not just Lively, but the entire Hollywood apparatus that fosters illusions of perfection. If stars choose to live their lives in the spotlight, tweeting personal anecdotes, sharing curated couples' photos, and monetizing their personal brand, shouldn't they also be held accountable in a public forum when something goes awry? Critics counter that Kelly is no stranger to sensationalism and that her calling out Lively might be as much for personal gain as for principle. Nevertheless, the debate resonates with many who question the double standards of celebrity culture. Why should big names be able to pick and choose which parts of their life are for public consumption? Megyn Kelly's angle, harsh as it may seem, speaks to a deeper frustration that Hollywood's elite often hide behind a fortress of PR spin, expecting the public to swallow whatever narrative they provide. If Lively truly has skeletons rattling in her closet, then Kelly's argument is that the public has a right to see them, especially given Lively's track record of publicly capitalizing on her personal life. As we reach the end of this deep dive, one thing is crystal clear. The clash between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has taken on a life of its own, transcending typical Hollywood spats. The addition of Megyn Kelly's unfiltered critique has only magnified the drama, casting a harsh spotlight on Lively's efforts to keep the lawsuit under wraps, or at least off camera. Kelly's destroying rhetoric might sound dramatic, but it captures a sentiment many in the public already harbor, that the golden couple of Lively and Reynolds might be more image than substance, and that the scales of public favor are tilting toward any figure, like Baldoni, who challenges them, yet in an industry fueled by rumor, speculation, and a taste for spectacle, we can't ignore the possibility that much of this is hype. Maybe the alleged evidence is overblown. Maybe Lively and Reynolds are genuinely the star talents many fans believe them to be, simply protecting their privacy. Or maybe, just maybe, the entire affair is the tipping point that exposes a hidden side of Hollywood's power dynamics. Whatever. The ultimate truth, the debate around televising this lawsuit, underscores a broader question. Should celebrities be allowed to carefully sculpt their public image while censoring anything that contradicts it? Or should they face full transparency? When their personal lives intersect with the law, Megyn Kelly's stance is clear, and for the moment, she's winning the narrative battle. How will Blake Lively respond? Will we see the lawsuit broadcast to millions of eager viewers, or will an 11th-hour legal maneuver muzzle the entire proceeding? One certainty remains. This story isn't just about two celebrities locked in a lawsuit. It's about a cultural shift in how we perceive fame, authenticity, and the right to know. Stay tuned because the next chapter could very well redefine how Hollywood operates under public scrutiny. After all, in a world where many already see Lively and Reynolds as undeserving A-listers, any misstep may confirm the worst suspicions about them. Suspicions that Megyn Kelly, for one, seems more than ready to highlight. As the story continues to unfold, there's always more to discover. Thanks for tapping in now. Like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you're the first to know when more secrets come to light.